You know what? No. I'm going to go no now. Aaron Judge is not a Hall of Famer.
Scott Carter says, mailbag. Is it realistic that Gabriel Moreno might move to another position during the offseason? And Sponge, great username, responded to that comment and said, emergency situation only, crazy athlete, but Blue Jays have multiple defensive replacements. So unless he has to pinch hit for someone or one of them in extras, I don't see any non-injury situation that he plays anything but catcher. What are your thoughts?
I mean, this catcher scenario is going to be it has been the talk of the season. Danny Jansen and Alejandro Kirk, I think their numbers are number 2 in all of baseball for offensive output by a catching tandem. They both are far above average when you look at their weighted runs created plus. They both are putting up massive OPS numbers. Their slugging percentage is way above average when it comes to catchers. Alejandro Kirk flirting with 300 average almost all season long. I think he's still batting 293 or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's right in that zone. Danny Jansen, 15 home runs and has played about half of the season. Gabriel Moreno, the number 5 prospect in all of baseball, the number 1 prospect in this Blue Jays organization. There are some decisions to be made this offseason, and I think it's going to really depend on what Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins decide as to who is the number 1 catcher. Honestly, if they decide that Danny Jansen is the guy they're going with, we could see some wild things happen. We could see both Moreno and Kirk moved in the offseason. Don't put it past this front office to move 2 catchers. It is their biggest strength with this team. And we're going to need to wait and see how deep they go into the playoffs. But there are some areas of need that are going to need to be addressed in the offseason, starting pitching being number 1, especially with Ross Stripling being a free agent. So if you're not going to make a huge splash in free agency, which maybe the Jays aren't, they do have some mega contracts already on the books. Maybe they're looking for some cost efficiency, which would come from trade. And again, who doesn't want an athlete like Gabriel Moreno or a proven commodity like Alejandro Kirk? I think there are 15 to 20 teams that would be lined up to talk to the Blue Jays about acquiring one of those 2 guys.
Yeah, I'm with you there. As far as this particular comment goes and the idea of moving Moreno to another position, I don't agree with the Sponge take that it would be an emergency injury situation. I don't see it as being we have a need at another spot and let's get Kirk in there, let's get Moreno in there. like you said, we just have an abundance at the catching position. So sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the scenario we just gave where they move 2 catchers, they could move none of them. And if that's the case, I think it is a very real situation where we could see Gaby move into a third base scenario, or we saw him taking some outfield reps in left field and center field. Look, positional versatility is hard. All right?
Yes. Positional versatility is hard. I think this offseason is just a case of the Blue Jays field phone calls on everybody. I mean, everybody in the catching position. I think you listen to offers on Danny, on Kirk, on Moreno, and you just decide what could we get the best return on. Would it shock me if Danny Jansen was the one who was moved? I would be a little bit shocked, to be completely honest. I think just the return in a trade is the lowest on Danny Jansen. I also don't know how comfortable I am with, in the middle of a playoff window, going with Alejandro Kirk and Gabriel Moreno with minimal MLB experience. I don't even like the idea really of Gabriel Moreno coming in the playoffs. Like, I'm not sure where you put him in the game. Like, is he on the playoff roster?
It's a really good question, man.
You know, like, do you feel comfortable? I mean, here's the hypothetical, right? Is Alejandro Kirk is catching, gets pinch run for in the 7th inning when we need to have a guy who can go first to third or whatever the case may be.
Which is Gabriel Moreno.
Right? And now all of a sudden, you know, Danny Jansen's the DH. Moreno's into pinch run, and now he's catching the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings of Game 3 of the wild card series. That makes me cringe to think about that. That's the question
for Blue Jays fans. It is. Are you comfortable with Gabriel Moreno catching in the 8th or 9th inning of a playoff game? And I mean, it will always forever stand out to me talking to Joe Siddle and him bringing up how long it takes to be a good catcher in the major leagues. And that it's literally experience. It's the one position where youth and athleticism isn't going to push you over the top. And so we have waited these 5 years since 2018 when Danny Jansen made his MLB debut for him to get to where he's at right now and be able to call an experienced game, to run the starting staff like he has and the pitching staff like he has. And I mean, you look at Alejandro Kirk. Alejandro Kirk's framing has been incredible. In fact, he's the only catcher in all of baseball who went from a negative last year to being a top 10 framer in the league. Like, it's pretty incredible. The shadow area, they call it, which is the area around the square, right? That is just, is it a strike? It isn't a strike. It's stealing strikes. So the shadow area was one of Alejandro Kirk's downfalls last season and is a definite positive this year. He is the best framer on this team. Is that something we're going to concern ourselves with as we watch it become more and more apparent that robo-umps are coming for 2024? I don't know.
Alejandro Kirk hit .315 in AAA this year. Do you know what he hit at the major league level in 23 games with the Blue Jays?
Are you talking Moreno right now?
Sorry. Yes, Moreno.
Yeah, okay.
Moreno hit .315 in AAA, played 23 games with the Blue Jays, 65 plate appearances. Do you know what he hit with the Blue Jays?
285?
290.
290? Pretty good.
He's played out his minor league career, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, there's not a lot of growth for him.
We can't just keep him in AAA in 2023 and go, well, just keep developing, kid.
Boy, we've sure done a great job, Adam, of taking these questions and then giving more questions.
Well, I mean, this is the argument, right? Of like, do we see him in an alternate position? I don't know. I go back to you answer phone calls on all 3 catchers from 29 other teams. You see what the best offer is. Hopefully a pitcher, and a competent one, is part of that package. And if you don't, I think you don't move one just for the sake of moving one. Right? You don't go, well, we got a log jam, let's just get rid of Moreno for a middling bullpen arm or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then what do you do? For me, it's you've got to try him. Maybe you put him back in AAA, but as a third baseman.
Yeah.
Right? You go, hey, you're a full-time third baseman in AAA this year, and we'll call you up, and you can play behind Matt Chapman and hang out with him. I don't know. It's
it'll be interesting to see what happens, man. There's some big-time decisions when it comes to this catching position.
What is your and then we can move on from this and talk Bo Bichette. But what is your confidence level in Alejandro Kirk to do what he did this year or take a step forward? Like, here's your 3 options. Repeat, progress, or regress. What do you think what's your gut telling you?
My gut tells me he regresses a little bit offensively, but not in any substantial way. I think it's going to be very comparable to what we've seen this season, and I think he probably continues to take steps forward when it comes to the defensive side of the game. What about you, man? Where are you at?
I'm so worried about him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm worried about him taking a step back, a significant one. I just don't think he hits. What did he do this year? He hit 300 for most of the season. His batting average currently is at 286. So just like since the All-Star game.
I believe in Alejandro Kirk, man.
I love Alejandro Kirk too. I want to believe in him. I just, for some reason, my gut is telling me not to. I don't know. What are his stats since the All-Star game? Let's just have a quick look. He's batting 249 since the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad,
No, it's not bad.
but it's not
And
the 305 that he was, or 319 he was hitting going into the All-Star game.
if it's super easy to just check his September numbers, would you
Yeah,
mind
let's do
doing
that.
that
You
really
bet.
quickly? Because he seems to be a little bit more on the ball in the last little bit of the season.
All right, so September to yesterday, batting average 247, slugging 303, OPS 647.
Okay, so yeah, below
you
average,
go.
I guess. Right around average.
13 walks to 10 strikeouts. That's good.
Yeah.
2 doubles, 1 home run. I don't know.
Putting in good at bats. He puts in good at bats. If nothing else, you can say he's not up there swinging and getting in ugly strikeouts. And
Okay, I'm going to get way off topic here for a second, but I promise it all relates. I was watching Impractical Jokers with my daughter last night before bed.
yeah,
And there was a line in that show where like one of the people said something about, oh, you could find the beauty in anything. And the response to it was, that's something that ugly people say. And that's just the feeling I get when you say he's putting in good at bats. It's just like, okay, but we're not seeing the results.
yeah.
So
Tell us about his barrel rate.
exactly, right? No, I don't know. Alejandro Kirk, like just the way he's built, like maybe this is just a wear and tear that we're going to see where next year he's fresh and he's going to start the season good. And the grind of 162 is just too much. I don't know. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I hope I'm wrong. I will be the first to admit it. I am an idiot.
We really appreciate all of you within the walk-off community. This thing continues to grow and become an animal of its own. It's a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, we love talking Blue Jays baseball and all the interaction that you folks are involved with us. Thank you so much. Discord, feel free to join it. That is always free. The show, or the link is in the show notes. You can follow us on Twitter at Walk Off Podcast, on Instagram, the Walk Off Podcast. And if you are watching on YouTube currently and you're not subscribed, we'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. All the best, everybody. Cheers.